Now today's co-host is the man that keeps us all hydrated in the UAE. Please welcome the founder and CEO at Humantra, Charlie Wright. Hey Charlie.
Hey, how you doing?
Thanks for joining us. I was so excited that you were coming on the show.
Amazing.
I'm just going to share a quick story, but I used to get really woozy and dizzy when I did sports.
Yeah.
And one time at paddle, I was feeling really faint, and a friend opened up your Humantra sachet, put it in my water, and I was bouncing off the walls.
Amazing.
It has changed my life. I have Humantra every single day. He did not tell me to say that. But yeah, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And you guys are a homegrown brand?
We are indeed, yeah. We launched the business in Dubai just over 4 years ago now. I've lived here for 12 years.
I mean, you guys are doing amazingly well. So how did the idea come about?
Touch wood. But I think, look, we wanted to try and create something in the supplement space. The initial ideation around Humantra that was going to be a product encompassing all different facets of supplementation, until research really guided us this core truth that like hydration is the foundation of everything. It's not just a fix. And I think internally speaking, I'd rather be a master of one than a jack of all trades. And so we just bet all our horses on the hydration category, and 4 years later, it's been a wild ride.
It absolutely has. And Humantra helped me because I was very sedentary for a while, and I just got back into walking on a treadmill.
Amazing.
That was giving me horrible cramps till I started getting in the electrolytes. And we've talked a lot about Humantra. We know about the benefits it gives, but obviously there are other products like this on the market. So the thing that must set it apart is the flavor. What's the process when it goes behind the flavors that you choose for your products?
Yeah, look, flavor is incredibly important to us as a business. And the best story I have is when I was like 5 or 6, my mum forced me to take cod liver oil as a supplement, but it wasn't in a capsule form, it was in pure liquid form.
Oh.
And it tasted horrific. And I pleaded with my mum and dad every day to try and stop or at least try it themselves. Until they finally tried it, and thankfully I moved very quickly over to capsules. But I think that story encapsulates everything that we want in a brand, i.e. that when you're asking people to make a transformational shift, i.e. supplement something every single day, you need to remove friction. And friction can be so much as if it doesn't taste quite right or the smell's not quite right. That sensory experience is so tightly correlated towards consumption. And so for us, I needed a product that when you try it, not only do you want to have it every day and you look forward to it, but you're willing to tell all your friends and family about it. And that's why sachet also is really important, that you can share something with your friends. But yeah, flavor's the crux of everything we want to do, but it's not without the function as well.
Is there anything that is trendy, for example, in flavors, for example, here in the Middle East or globally, in the global market? Do you see any shifts in different flavors that people are going for?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a tough one to do as you're scaling up in multiple markets, just being able to do lots of different things. I think in the early days, we tried to find encompassing flavors that we could sort of spread across the whole globe. But I think now, especially around Ramadan, of course, we launch a new flavor on the eve of Ramadan every year, which is, one of our proudest achievements. We launched Rose in 2024. This year we launched Apricot, which was inspired by the Hamal Din.
Yes.
So we definitely see some preference around flavors in the Middle East and other markets as well. But we're trying to keep our eyes on the pulse, see what is trending here, there, and everywhere. But ultimately, it comes down to consumer interaction.
Yes.
Like fundamentally, when you put something in front of them, do they love it? And is it beyond just me liking it? We chatted off air previously about Rose flavor. For me, it wasn't my favorite flavor we'd ever produced before, but when I see it in the region, the most asked for flavor in Dubai is always Rose.
Wow. I would not have guessed
so it's
that.
an interesting one, yeah.
Not lychee? Come on. And you guys just had a new launch as well.
Yeah,
New
we
flavor.
just brought back Black Cherry. We launched it in November last year, and we brought it back by popular demand. It's by far and away been our most popular, most demanded product on the market. So incredibly excited, and I say it about most new drops, but genuinely this one is my favorite flavor.
This is one of my favorites as well. I've tried it before, and I can't wait to have it again here.
They're all brilliant. Charlie, I want to know, looking to the future, and because you said only 4 years, and already it's one of the biggest brands in the UAE. What are you focusing on more for the years ahead? Is it the flavor or the actual compound within the Humantra?
Look, I think the supplement category in general across the globe is becoming more and more saturated every day, and I think the lens really has been that people are trying to differentiate themselves through function. Whereas for us, we want to really bang this simple drum, i.e. that electrolytes and hydration is for everyone, every day, everywhere, and it's really an everyone pursuit. It's not just for athletes. And so to do that, we need to use flavor as something that, not just like peaks first purchase, but like how do I, as a founder, get people to come back every month? You know, subscription for us has been probably the most game-changing initiative we've launched this year, and I think being able to layer in new and intrigue with limited editions has been arguably the most important sort of business decision we've made, whether it be a black cherry or whether it be a Ramadan drop. You know, limited edition with great flavors, whether people either love them or they hate them, has been fantastic for us. But then finding this core balance of flavors that people just want to go back to time and time again. So for us, it's a lot more of the same. You know, everyone uses the word innovation all the time, but we're on the pulse. We want to speak to what our consumers want. Yeah. But also, like Henry Ford's got that great quote, whereas if you'd asked people 100 years ago what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse or a faster car, not a car.
Right.
And so like you have to be almost looking ahead and thinking like what could be a trending flavor, what people might like in 2026, 2027 and beyond. So look, it's an ever evolving game, but flavor and function are going to be really core to that.
I was talking about sugar, by the way. You know, the struggle between aspartame and stevia and how much research is done. What do you guys use and how caloric are your products?
We use stevia to sweeten the product. So it's like under 5 or 10 calories a stick, which is great. And for us, you know, look, it's very hard to create something that is perfect for everyone. But for us, stevia just felt like this blanket ingredient that could really, you know, cut through the noise. It's gut friendly, it's clean, and the taste for us is critically important. Some players in the electrolyte category do like sugar. For us, it's not what we use today. But yeah, stevia's the one that we're betting all our horses on. Yeah.
I wanted to see, because I think you also build communities. People always come, they don't ask like, do you have an electrolyte? They ask if you have a Humantra.
Yeah.
So how do you go on that? Do you guys also focus on building communities with your brand?
I think, look, communities are byproducts of what you do and the values you espouse every day. I think that's been really important, how I've built team and tried to build the business. You know, I think if you try and reverse engineer a community, it often comes across as constructed and inauthentic. We tried to do everything, you know, to the truest possible way from day one. I think what's really critically important to us is that it sounds romantic, but the reason why we have sachets is that we want people to encourage, you know, sharing something positive with somebody else. You know, if we put Humantra in a bag, for example, with a spoon, like you don't just, on the metro, you're not just grabbing a spoon and giving this to somebody and like it's all a mess, but you might just hand a sachet over. And to me, that's a symbol of like a positive thing you can do for somebody else, which is really powerful. Yeah. Can we be a conduit to better behavior elsewhere? And as a byproduct, I'm a huge fan of human connection. I know there's a bit to talk about around sort of technology and AI, but you know, in the business, we look at AI as a way to give back more time to the human element of business. Yeah. And so, you know, can we talk to our consumers? Can we get in front of them? Can we hear those stories? Can we get their feedback? And I think if you're authentic with that and you really stand by that, then the community can build from there. But yeah, you know, human connection, bringing people together, it's what life's all about, right?
Yeah, very true.
Incredible.
I agree with that.
Absolutely. So for our viewers, I want to talk about building healthy habits and how you think Humantra can aid with that.
So look, I mean, you may think I have an agenda with it, but really it's clear. I fundamentally believe that the easiest thing you can do every day is prioritize your hydration. You know, as humans, we are made up of 60 to 70% water. Our bodies crave more water, and unfortunately, in the consumerism landscape that we live in now, we're always pushed towards everything else but water. You know, coffee, you know, matcha now, sodas, everything but what we really crave. And the single most important thing you can do to get natural energy every day, which is also really easy, is prioritize your hydration. As a consumer, for me, I'm not going to lie, I find water pretty boring and always have done. I don't look forward to a glass of water unless I'm exceptionally parched or I've played some sport, I've been outside. But I try to think of through occasions where I looked forward to drinks, whether that be a fizzy water, which I often find fizz sometimes to me associates to something I look forward to. But it kept coming back to flavors, nostalgic flavors I grew up with as a child, things I look forward to. And so for us, I think it's like, can we get people looking forward to doing something that's going to benefit them every day? And when we go back to that friction point, if it's not too difficult, I think the number one reason why people give up healthy habits is because friction plays a part in it. It's too hard or you haven't got time. So if we could find something that people genuinely look forward to that could provide equal or, you know, surmountable function it's going to help people then make, again, like we said, a conduit to better behavior. Yeah. Start your day, and James Clear talks about it all the time, this habit stacking mindset. You know, start your day with Humantra. Go for a walk in the morning. You know, start with these smaller, achievable things. And sometimes when it doesn't feel too difficult and it's an easy win, it sets you off on and builds some momentum for the day. So I would think like start easy. You know, for me, I've not always been focused on health and wellness. Before I started this business, you know, for 8 years, I was exceptionally unhealthy. I didn't look after myself. But really for me, you know, just prioritizing hydration as a starting point was the catalyst for my life going in a completely different direction.